living in New Bern, North Carolina.
But first, let's hit it. Hi, this is Alan Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, please subscribe and get notified.
Honestly, we get calls and texts all the time at 252-327-3357. So if you have any questions about New Bern or anything else that you want to talk about with retail, please call me.
One of the cities that is near the water is in New Bern.
New Bern is an amazing, interesting little facts, and as a history teacher I found it really an interesting place. So New Bern is in Craven County. Currently it has about 31,000 people. It is 28.46 square miles. The water is only 1.49 square miles, so you are close to the water. Not beaches though, but this is more like a harbor area. Density is 111 square miles. Elevation is only 10 feet. It is the birthplace of Pepsi Cola. When I first moved to North Carolina, this is the very first thing my father told me. Oh, that's where Pepsi's from. It was actually much older than the founding of Pepsi. It was founded in October 1710 by the Swiss and the Palatines under the leadership of Christopher von, I'm horrible with Swiss names, Grafenheid. The new colonists named the settlement here in New Bern after Bern in Switzerland, which is why it's New Bern. The Swiss region had more of the colonists that eventually migrated, obviously the English.
Yes.
It is renowned for its mosaic temples and Athens-like temples that are both still active today. Obviously, the English came in, and New Bern is the second oldest European settlement in North Carolina after Bath. It was actually the capital of North Carolina between 1770 to 1792. After the Revolution was over, New Bern was one of the wealthy and culturally rich cities in the area. At one point, they called New Bern the Athens of the South. Obviously, Athens, Greece. So I just kind of wanted to give you some history because, I love history.
Therefore, this was the history, but we're going to jump on 13 or 14 different reasons to live in New Bern, and the second after the history we'll start with the home value and how is the housing market is in New Bern. Therefore, as we basically talking to you in end of September 2022, we can tell you that if you want the home value index based on the data that we have on the Zillow website, we had from 215,000 in January, the median home value, and it got 241,776.
And then last year in August, it was 197K. So you can see that growth of at least in,
Therefore, you can see that there is a 25%, over 25% growth. Basically the appreciation of basically New Bern.
Now the rental market, because people do ask us about those things, the median for all beds in the rental market in New Bern is $1,500. Month over month, what is that?
Month over month, $250 increase.
Year over year,
$179 increase. Therefore, it has a very warm market, means the supply and demand is still, there are lots of demands. It's a very warm market.
Okay, let's talk about that cost of living in New Bern and why you might consider
now I wanted to also talk about some active listing.
That's important.
Active listing in August 2022 was 218, and in July, a month before, 226, and August last year in 2021 was 251.
So when you talk about those active listings, there is actually way more active listings in New Bern than there are in Greenville as a comparison. Pending, which means, in case you've missed our videos in the past, things that have contracts on it that are technically not completely through escrow yet to get sold. So these things you cannot really buy them unless something happens to that deal. So in August 2022, there was 136. Last month there was 153, and this year, last year at this time, it was 170, which is actually down 20%.
Therefore, basically, the inventory went down almost 20% from the last year, and the sold properties almost 10% went down. But now we wanted to talk also how many days on the market these houses were, and also what is the absorption rate is.
Okay, so August 22 days on market, there was 23 days on the market on average. July 22nd, there were 27 days on the market. Last year, 2021, August, 27 days on the market. So really from last year to this year, it's actually decreased 14.81%.
Market got a little bit faster, a couple days
Since last
in
year.
New Bern.
Yeah.
And absorption rate that determines basically that is basically buyers or seller market. We can say that in August 2022 was 1.39, in July was 144, and last year August this time was 154. Therefore, definitely market got cooler in New Bern for 9.74%. Still, we are in the seller market, but a little bit cooler.
Okay, so let's just talk about the average list price. Now, in August 22, the medium list price was $335,000. The median sales price, however, was $289,000. So you can see there is always a difference between the median list and versus what they actually sell for. And these are just medium numbers, and they can be different. Obviously, that includes mansions and the shacks. So July 2022 was $337,125, which means it's a little down. And the median sales price was $267,950, which was also down from the previous lower the last month to this month. August 27, 2021, $275,000 was the median list price, and the actually sold price was $247,000. So year over year, it was 22% increase basically, and the sales price basically is 17.5.
There were, as you see, the market was, the houses were appreciating. Now, without any further ado, we're gonna jump to the next one, which is the cost of living. Many of you wanted to know how's the cost of living, and these numbers are based on the U.S. average, which is 100 for the national, and we can say for the grocery, is 97.2% in New Bern. And the housing is 61.8, which is the number of the renters and basically number of the homeowners. And
so medium home cost is $241. The utilities is $100, which is pretty much the same. Transportation is $64.6,
which is really good. Like auto insurance, all of the things comes with the transportation is really good.
Health is a little higher, is 113.6, but it is close enough to Greenville. Overall, it is a 81.9%. National average, of course, being 100, which means it is 18% cheaper to live in New Bern, North Carolina, than it is to live anywhere else in the country.
Yes, and now we wanted to talk about the weather. And the weather, definitely, we have 53 inches of rain every year in an average in New Bern, and like a Greenville, 2 inches of rain, snow, which is a 1 day snow and it melts away right away. And we have 213 sunny days, which U.S. average is 205 days.
Now, big events that people actually love to talk about, the big events. Oktoberfest, of course.
Well, we want to talk about also the winter low. Winter low was January, is 34, and the high is 90 degrees.
Okay, so Oktoberfest, September 24th. So as we're writing this video, it's coming up. The Mumfest is October 8th. Dan Oakley, October 30th. The Havelock Chili Festival is coming up as well. Candlelight, of course, for closer to Christmas. And the Fall Home Expo is in November. So that's always fun.
And there are more events, but we basically narrowed down for each month that how many events that they have, and we put it in this video.
Okay, let's go on to number 5. What's number 5?
Number 5, what it is?
Air quality.
Air quality. What is the air quality?
It is 72 out of 100. So this is based on the air pollutants from the EPA. Respiratory illnesses is 21.2% in New Bern. It is 38.5% in U.S. So we are 17.3% less likely to have a respiratory illness. Let's also talk about cancer. 35.9% average for New Bern. The U.S. average is 46.6. So there is 10.7% less than the U.S. average.
Therefore, it's really good for those that they have a respiratory issue to live in New Bern.
Water.
And near the water. The water quality, actually, this is a watershed quality, not the water that comes from the faucet. Actually is 80 out of 100, which is really good. It's higher than Greenville. Greenville is around 69, 70, and New Bern. And definitely, if you go to the website of the government, local government, you will see that they have for this energy drinking water annual report based off the 15 different categories of metals.
So the water is good.
The water is super good.
Okay, so number 7 is income. Now this is where people get a little dismayed because over 50% of the population does make less than $50,000, but we're going to break it down. 14% make between 20 to 30%, 30K, 20 to 30K. 15% makes about 15K. 11.4% makes between 30 to 40K, 10% makes 40 to 50K, and 10% makes 50 to 60K. The median income in New Bern is 42%. Now the good
42,000.
42,000. I keep saying percent, I don't know. Unemployment rate is 4.6, but what's the good news?
The job growth is almost 30% in a New Bern. And now we wanted to talk about the commuting that you wanted to know. 19.4 minutes average of the commuting in New Bern, which the US average is 26.4 minutes. Therefore, we are below the US average. But we can say that 26% of the people in New Bern, they drive 10 to 14 miles for their job, 18% 6 to 9 miles, and 5% less than 5 miles driving to the work.
Now, something we forgot to talk about is taxes. That is actually one of our major areas, and we didn't talk about it. The income tax in New Bern is 5.5. The sales tax is 6.8%. The property city taxes, of course, which matters to our property owners, is 0.4822 per $100.
Which is like a little bit more than the 48 cents per $100.
Well, let's talk about some of these restaurants that I like to stop at.
Yes, therefore, these restaurant that we basically listed is the high-ranked restaurant. Some of them are the water, like a Persimmon's Waterfront. The is number 1, and what else?
Morgan's Town and Grill. I like a grill and a tavern, of course. Annabelle's is number 3. Spunky McDonald's is number 4 that we want to throw out there. McDougall's.
And Cow Cafe and MJ's Raw Bar and Grill. Because we are living in South, there are lots of good grills around here that you definitely need to try.
So say you want to stay in shape in New Bern, right? So this is where we talk about the gym, and this is more my husband's field, so I'm going to let him talk.
Definitely. The number 1 is True Fit Gym in New Bern. The one Planet Fitness, as you can find it all around the US. Sound Fitness, CrossFit Bern, Tighten Up Athletes, Sweat Camp, and Ignite Spin Fitness Studio.
Okay, another one to talk about is the medical centers. Of course, this is another topic. So now we're talking about Carolina East Medical Center, Goshen Medical Center, CCHS, Friendly News Medical Center at Craven Medical Center.
That is for the kidney, basically.
Right. Med First, Primary and Emergent Care, Magnolia Plaza, and Carolina East Health. Physicians is 221 per capita of 100,000, and the U.S. average is 210. So you can see it's actually a little higher
than the U.S. average. Therefore, this is a good number. And what is the next?
What is next?
Next, we're going to talk about the different jobs that are available in New Bern.
Yeah, because we get people who call and say, hey, what kind of jobs are we looking at? So management typically makes over 50K there. Business computer is 100K or more. What's next?
Basically, architecture and engineer, $70,000 and more.
And then the rest we're going to talk about are?
Science, basically, social services, legal, education, art and entertainment, definitely health practitioner,
not just
health technicians, healthcare support. Of course, there are lots of medical center there. Firefighters, law enforcement, of course, everywhere. Food preparation and serving. Of course, fishing, which is because we are near the water. And construction, which is all around North Carolina, and production and cleaning. Okay,
so life isn't always like a new Nicholas Sparks book, which is, again, Lost at a New Bern. Let's talk about safety and crime, though.
This is very important.
The number of all deaths, there has been a substantial decrease between 2006 to 2020. There was for all issues, from 468 total all issues now in 2006 to 253. Most of the crime is property crime. Violent crime came in at 22.9, which is actually the U.S. average.
Yes, it's close to yours hours.
And very quickly, our last best places to visit. If you're
Yes.
coming there, North Carolina History Center, Tyrant Place, New Bern's Fireman Museum, New Bern Historical Society for the Civil War Battlefield, Union Point Park, I like that one, Carolina Creation Fine Art and Contemporary Gallery, Island Greek Tale, and of course, New Bern Academy Museum. So,
I hope this podcast and video was helpful. Please contact us at 252-327-3357. Looking forward to talking to you.
absolutely.